Hello and welcome back to my channel. For those of you that are new here, my name is Christina. I started this channel as a way to share how I garden in a small space in suburbia. I also have the desire to live as self-sufficiently as possible. Here on my channel, you'll kind of be exposed to a little bit of everything. Gardening, home repair, birth stories, family activities, the ups and downs of just living as a multi-generational family in a small house in a little town in the Midwest. If you've seen any of my previous videos in the last week, you will know that I am attempting to be a part of Vlogmas. I did miss posting a video yesterday, but I will be honest, editing is a pain in the rear end. I cannot seem to figure it out. So once every 6 weeks to 2 months, we do what we call fancy ramen or gourmet ramen. We take the cheap ramen packets that you get for like, 15-20 cents a packet. And then I put together a bunch of Asian type vegetables and sauces, and we make fancy ramen. Okay, so this is what we get. It's the vegetarian. It's a 5-pack for $1 at Dollar General. And I buy a can of baby corn and we leave it in the pieces that it comes as. I think that's Imperial brand from Walmart. And we have 1 bell pepper in thin strips. Half of a container of mushrooms, and they're just in slices. Usually cut about 6 green onions for garnish. And then this is the leeks. This is what it looks like when they're all cut into bits. And then this is the napa cabbage. And so you just kind of cut it into little strips or chunks. And then, because I don't know if it recorded, 1 package of the ramen noodles, the coconut milk, which is going to be solid once it's been refrigerated, which is what we're dealing with now. But when you first open it up, it's a little bit liquidy, and so it's easier to pour. When it's been refrigerated, it's like Crisco afterwards. It's real solid, and so I just scoop it out. Have cashews for garnishment. My 1 pan, my stovetop is dirty, I'm sorry. Don't mind that. I have 1 small saucepan because I'm just doing 1 package. I'm not doing a whole family pack. And then I have sesame seed oil, Bragg's liquid aminos, coconut aminos, and then I might put a little bit of soy sauce in it. I put 2 1/4 cups of water into my little saucepan. I just put it on high, and then I take my packet of ramen and I kind of crunch it a little bit. And then open it up and set my sauce packet to the side for a minute. Then usually this is when I would be cutting all of my vegetables and prepping them, but because they're already all cut and prepped, I don't need to do that. So as soon as this comes to a boil, I put my ramen noodles in just like I would if I was making ramen. And I cook them until they are almost like al dente, where they're still firm, but they're not like completely done. And then I will sometimes do one of 2 things. At that point, I'll take an egg, that I've cracked into a bowl and whipped. And I will pour it into the boiling water with the pasta, and I'll whip it with a fork real quick. Or I'll just start dropping my veggies in to start to cook just a little bit. And then I turn the heat off and I put a lid on and I leave it for 1 minute. So by the time I get to that step, I'll decide if I'm going to do an egg or not. Actually, I think I'll just go ahead and do it and show you. So these are actually this morning's. I have some in the fridge that I will grab out. So I take a little ramekin and an egg, which I'm going to wash off a little bit. Oh, there we go. Whenever I'm on this cell phone, I have a hard time. Okay, so there's our egg. Put the shell in the compost. Then I just take a fork and whip. And set it aside. You can kind of hear that it's making noise as it's boiling a little bit. And remember, I broke those up so they're kind of in smaller chunks. Just drop that in and have the perfect sized ramen bowl. I'm going to go ahead and drop in a couple of bell peppers. Small little handful of mushrooms. A few baby corn. And that's about a tablespoon of chopped leeks. Oh, let's say about a tablespoon and a half. That's probably 1/8 of a cup of napa cabbage. And this is boiling, so let's just check it. So the noodles are starting to separate away. So just like you would cooking ramen, you're just kind of separating them. You do want them separated before you drop your egg in. Okay, and that's kind of al dente like we wanted it. So we're going to take the egg. Next, I had turned my heat down, so I'm going to turn it back up. So that's a good boil. And I'm just going to pour the egg in. And that helps get the egg out, and then I whip it. So you kind of get the effect of the egg drop soup. My veggies. I drop them all in. Use my fork to press everything down. I'm going to turn my heat off. Make sure my lid is closed. I'm going to stick my lid on for 1 minute. So see what I mean about the coconut milk, but it will still work. So I'm going to take a spoonful. Oh, that's so good. I wish you guys could taste it. One of the kids did this for me. They're so helpful. Okay. So, remember I told you I do use this. I love the flavor of it. So I drop that in. About a teaspoon or so of soy sauce. Drizzle of sesame seed oil. Little splash of, this is Bragg's liquid aminos. Same with the coconut aminos. Take this and whip it. Okay. Now I'm going to pour it all into the bowl. And then I'm going to garnish with green onion, cashews, it's so good. And crushed red pepper flakes. You can hear my chickens out there. I think I have a Randy rooster out there. Yeah. Because I go out there and he's like on her and they try running away, and so then he goes and he gets on another one. And this is my first year having a rooster, and so maybe that's totally normal activity. I don't know. This is done. Let me show you. Doesn't that look so good? Mini corn and the mushrooms, green onion, garnishment, a little bit of the leek in there. The mushrooms are perfectly cooked. These are just lightly steamed, just like Asian food should be. And that is fancy ramen. Okay. You know what? I've got to be a pig and I have to try it on here. Look at that. Oh my gosh. Perfectly cooked. Let's get a little bit of cashew. Let's try and get a mushroom. Mmm. That is so good. And I know there's other ways that you could do this without using ramen noodles, but that's part of what makes it so good, because they're, you know, the deep fried or whatever, oiled noodles. Okay, one more bite and then I'm gonna go pass off to a kid. Look at that. Mushroom and cashew. Let's get a bell pepper if I can. My mouth is big enough. My mouth not be big enough to take all that. Let's see. Oh, it's like when the egg whips. That's what it looks like. Yeah, I have to quit eating this or I'm going to ruin my appetite. I'm not encouraging any of you to go and eat deep fried or oiled noodles. But I will say, you're missing out if you don't try this. I'm going to stop. Thank you for joining me today as I show how I make gourmet or fancy ramen noodles. I will put in the description down below the ingredients that I use and the approximate quantities for just the one pan that I made. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you like my channel, please consider subscribing. And if you do subscribe, don't forget to hit the notification bell so that when I do put new videos out, you get notified and you can immediately see what I'm up to today. Thanks again. Happy Saturday, everyone. See you next time.